Well, how old do you figure this canoe is, Rick?
I believe it was constructed in the early 1900s.
Right. Just spell your last name, Rick Jessam?
Yes, Jessome.
And you're with?
BC Parks.
Can you give me a little history on this canoe here?
Well, this canoe was built by my dad. I don't know what year it was. It was a number of years ago. Other than that, I guess he used for traffic, stuff like that.
Now, what lake was this? Did he have it on?
On this,
Was it Lindeman Lake or?
Linderman Lake.
Oh, yeah.
They had it in Linderman Lake.
And Rick there was saying that he figured it was early 1900s that it was in use?
Yeah, it was in the, must have been in the 20s, somewhere around in there.
Oh, yeah. Did he live in a cabin up there?
They were mining up here.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the lake. Silver Chief Mine.
I just want to get your name. What's your first name?
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
And how do you spell your last name?
S-E-P-A-S-S.
Okay. And once again, what was the name of your dad then?
Billy Sepass.
Oh, yeah. And that was up at Lindeman Lake, and it was was he living in a cabin up there, or?
No, he was down below here.
Yeah. And he was mining and trapping up there?
Just mining, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this canoe, what would it be made out of now?
I don't know what it's made out of. It looks like a cedar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he would use that to go from one side of the lake to the other?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trapping.
Trapping. And what would he be trapping up there?
Oh, there's different things, I guess. The martins.
Oh, yeah.
Martin mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this thing is well over 70 years old, you would say, or?
Well, yes, in the 20s, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, we're back with Rick Jessam. You're with BC Parks then, Rick?
Yes.
Yeah, and now can you give us a bit of history how this thing was discovered?
Apparently, one of the geologists that work with Stolo Nations was up in the area and spotted it. You know, because of the shape and configuration, one might even walk by it and not realize, but him, with his knowledge, he realized that, yes, in fact, it was a dugout canoe.
And what's the destination for this now?
I believe it's going to go to Stolo Nations. They now have a museum down there, and it's going to be turned over by the Sepass family to Stolo.
Right. Okay.
He was pretty fair shape last time I seen him. Yeah. They had it spiked to the raft.
That's important.
Yeah.
Probably over the years in the water.
Yeah, up against the
weather.
rocks or
Yes.
you know. And I think the kids have chopped quite a bit off them too.
Yes. But you can certainly see the outline of a canoe.
Yeah, just big enough that you can sit in it. Eh? Yeah. Yeah, that's just part of it.
Is it cedar, Rick?
Yes.
Cedar manufactured? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appears to be cedar. And actually, the black markings, I would assume, probably was burnt out. I would imagine
Would
that's
have been burnt out, yeah.
And then shaped.
Yeah, but it's a lot higher. We say it's wide enough to sit in it.
Yes. Coming back in.
So how many generations have we got here? Sepass is 3?
Yeah.
4. Okay, 4 generations. And we're up at Chilliwack Lake. Right at the head of Chilliwack Lake and where Chilliwack River goes out.
There we go. Got her. Got her. I'm snapping a couple shots.
Grandpa.
Come on, Dave.
Hey, Rick. We got another hour, so we're going to take people for a flip.
Great. Oh, right on. Coming in for the photograph.
Hey. You got a canoe here. Don't worry about it. Take the canoe with you. There we go.
What's happening here?
You broke it. It's just rewinding. Great. Okay.
Bill, your name, Bill Sepass, spelled S-E-P-A-S?
S-E-P-A. S-E-P-A-S-S, yes.
Okay. This has got to have a lot of to your family. I see there's 4 generations here. Can you give me your feelings on this this canoe here?
It's a very happy day today for our family. As you're aware of our great grandmother, kind of turmoil. It's kind of took hold of the wet. We're the house part of the area. we're just very happy today.
Yeah. Now this canoe here, we're sort of trying to date it probably around 1920. Would you figure that would be accurate, or when it was first built, or have you any idea?
Oh, I don't have any really a great idea. I just know my grandfather was a lot of time in this area. He'd make canoes to get around in the areas. Made a lot of trails in the area, and has a lot of history. And I believe it's a great day for the Chukwailak people.
Now this canoe here, would you say, I guess it would be probably one of the oldest, definitely that you knew that your family would have used then?
Well, he was a great canoe maker. There's another one down on the Chilliwack Lakefront right now. I understand it's used as using a decoration for plants, and we like to try to get that one back too. It'd be much appreciated. There's another one down at, it's in very good shape at Haitum, down in Hatsik Rock.
Mm-hmm.
He's made several canoes. I have some pictures of canoes that Marie Whedon had gave me some time back. My grandfather remembers the days when he'd travel up here in canoes with him in a large freight canoe out to the mine out at the back of Chilliwack Lake. It was called Silver Chief, what old Billy had found at one time.
Well, very good. As I can hear by your conversation, a real great day for you, and it's been a pleasure to be here to see it too.
Oh yeah, the helicopter ride was a ride.
Helicopter ride. A little different than the way your grandfather would have traveled on this canoe here.
I bet he didn't know his canoe could fly too.
That's right. Very good. Hey, your first name David and last name is and spelt?
Right, my name is Dave Sheppy. That's S-C-H-A-E-P-E. I'm archaeologist for the Stalo Nation. And we've finally got together here today with the Sepass family in BC Parks to take this canoe that we've found up at Lindeman Lake out of the forest and into a safe housing where it'll actually be held at Stalo Nation, where it's very likely to be put into some sort of display and interpretive context there. It's in my experience, it's the only canoe of its kind that we've ever come across in the territory. It's probably it's very significant in that it's attached to a historical figure, very significant historical figure, Billy Sepass, who was a prominent chief of the Chilkoyak people. And as Bill Sepass Jr. was discussing, his great-grandfather spent a good deal of time up here in the back end of the Chilliwack Valley, hunting, trapping, mining, around the turn of the century. Billy Sepass Sr. lived to be approximately 100 years old, I believe, and I guess puts his use in building of this canoe anytime around 1880s or up to the 1920s, somewhere in that time frame. It's hard to tell for sure.
So that's what you dated as, from the 1890s to 1920s or something that would have been built?
It's hard to say for sure, but a period of roughly turn of the century, late 1800s, early 1900s.
So we're looking at a piece of art here that is probably at least 100 years old, we'd have to say.
It's right, yeah, it'd be right in there, right in there. It's one of the last, likely one of the last real dugout canoes that the Stalo people fashioned and used in traditional fashion in this area. So it's a really significant find in that regard.
Could you just give us just an update on how it was discovered then, and how this was all put together to bring it out here today, which is Tuesday, September what?
September 28th.
Great.
Yes. Interesting to say discovered in the sense that it's never really been lost. I guess Billy Sepass Sr. had made it, and his use of Lindeman Lake was well known. His ability to make canoes was well known, and the knowledge of this canoe being up at Lindeman Lake has always been around. It's existed with Rob Sepass and his family, and they remember seeing it and using it apparently back up until the 1970s. At which point it was, I should let them relate the story, but sunk to try and keep it in a safe place away from anywhere that'll be harmed, what might meet any kind of harm or come to harm by people using that area and not really realizing what it was. And you see a lot of drift logs up there that are chopped up, used for firewood, and it would have been a real shame if this canoe met that same end. So it's never really, I can't say we've discovered it. It's resurfaced and it's offered itself up again, you might say. Last year about this time I was up hiking at Lindeman Lake with my family and just happened to recognize the canoe which had washed up at that time, and so we realized right away that it was a significant find, and had a good idea of who might have made it. So we contacted the Sepass family and got the history of the canoe, and then also contacted BC Parks and Rick Jessam and made arrangements with BC Parks to take it out. The weather last year socked in, and unfortunately we weren't able to do it last fall. So it managed to survive the winter, and we finally did get around to it today. So it's been a long time coming to get the canoe out, and we did it was a very successful job.
Well, it's not too bad that we got socked in, because I got the opportunity to be here to film this and document this, and it'll be part of the history, I'm sure, as you and I are long gone.
Oh yeah, that's the idea. That's what the canoe is a part of. It's part of the history of this area, which goes back many generations, thousands of years. The area we're standing here is known as the home or the original, one of the early villages of the Chilkoyak people, up at near Chilliwack Lake, and there's a series of villages that are basically the history of the Chilkoyak people that goes back thousands of years. We've done some preliminary excavations at a site near Allison Pool that we have dates go back 5,000 years. It's quite likely that the Chilliwack people were here, and Chilkoyak people were here for quite a while before that. So again, it's part of the continuum of the occupation use of this area by the Stalo people.
Very good, David. Well, it's been a pleasure to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to film me there.
Oh, pleasure.
I want to thank the Parks Board for
We had some very good cooperation here, I understand, with the Park Branch and Rick. Just to
like we have. Just
Well, I haven't got the results yet. About 10 minutes to be here. But perfect. Yeah, I guarantee that one would be, looks to me like it's mid-Oregon, one of the John Day or Steve Liquor sources. You don't look like you're so small.
How is it?
support. Maybe we should move this rack down to the very back.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Just to give it a bit more. Both sides?
Dave, you figure we can take that right down to Stolo?
Yeah.
I guess you'd be following us down anyway.
If you want to go down whenever you want to go, if you're spring or whenever.
Yeah.
Sure, we can just.
As soon as we're finished our little flight here, our little
Yeah, no problem. We can
tour, we can make our way down.
put it in some water for cleaning. Yeah, pleasure. It's one of those things.
Right on.
Yeah.
We figure out what we're going to do with it.
A lot of history there.
Yeah. Do you have any rope or anything I can use to bind this?
Yeah, we gotta get some.
That's the only concern, is that this end's gonna
Wiggle and split.
I have a bunch of cord.
Well, that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
Good.
shouldn't really come.
Chilliwack Lake 1 CS1. Chilliwack Lake 1 CS1.
it's got a little crack in it there, Dave, eh?
Yeah, just a bit of the old wear. This has been sitting for some time at the bottom of the lake. Maybe we want to to put one more in there?
Okay. It's funny how it made its way back to the
I know.
top again.
I mean, it's basically moved the whole length of the lake from one end to the other before it surfaced. And then even in the space of the time from last fall to now, it moved roughly about 50 feet, was trying to make its way back to the lake. So
Yeah.
we caught it just in time before it resubmerged itself.